This is Davis from Channel ATV. We have the man that everybody's lining up for to meet. Is very, very important. I'll let you guys know a little bit about him in a little bit, but he's the man from who's a spokesman actually for the State Department. Now, are you just responsible for this summit today, or just you do some other stuff?
I'm the spokesperson for the State Department's Bureau of African Affairs.
Okay.
So whenever it has to do with Africa, sub-Saharan Africa, it comes through my office. That's
interesting. Now, I want to talk about what it took in terms of planning and the maybe proximity of time, maybe even just some of the challenges that you face in as far as pulling something like this together, because I know this is a huge historic moment. What's involved behind the scenes?
This is an unprecedented historic moment in Washington's history, and I'm a Washingtonian, so I'm proud of it. This is the largest gathering of foreign presidents in Washington, D.C. ever. We have 50 delegations from 50 countries plus the African Union, and our president here at the State Department today. We have over 5,000 people credentialed to participate in the summit, and including 1,200 journalists.
Now, before I even dive into something, I just want to give the viewers an opportunity. For someone to become who you are, for someone to succeed your office, you're very knowledgeable about Africa. I was talking to you behind the scenes, and you talked about a lot of things that you know about different countries, even more than what I know actually. What does somebody has to go through to become a member of your office?
So I'm a career diplomat.
I've
worked in the State Department for over a decade. At a variety of postings. They send us around the world. I spent some time in the continent, and I cover all sub-Saharan Africa. So it behooves me to learn the issues as well as I can, so I can articulate what it is that U.S. policy is on a specific issue. Whether it's Rwanda or the recent elections in Malawi or how we're dealing with the Ebola outbreak in Western Africa. I have to work on that, and I have a great team that helps me and supports me, and I have a great boss, our assistant secretary, America's top diplomat on Africa. And she teaches me a lot because she's spent a lot more time on the continent than I have. Hopefully, she'll have a chance to meet her, Linda Thomas Greenfield.
Oh, wow, absolutely. So, coming to you just a little bit. You talked about being around the world. How do you balance your lifestyle, your family, and your job? Because you travel from one country to another for years.
That's right.
How do you balance that before you go back to the summit?
I have, gratefully, an intrepid and lovely wife who is willing to support me and help me as we move around the world.
Good.
And my kids are kind of comfortable with ambiguity. They like it when.
But you said they're almost teenagers now, so it might be a little.
That's right. My oldest, who's just turned 13. When he was 2.5, we moved overseas for the first time. And he learned Russian. As a little kid going to preschool.
Oh, that's great.
They're intrepid. They are willing to try something new, which I think is really great.
Now, Africa is very diverse. We know there are different languages being spoken there, and different values, different traditions. How does America look at putting a thing like that together to where, without really stepping on anybody's toes, in terms of politics, in terms of economics, in terms of finances? What's the primary focus for this summit, considering those issues I just talked about?
I'm glad you brought that up, because I think that's one of the messages I wanted to help Americans understand. Africa is not a country.
Exactly. Thank you.
Africa is 50 plus nations, independent nations, and within those nations, unique cultures. And it's important that Americans see that and understand that. I will tell you, one of the things that we had to deal with when we first planned the summit is we had picked a date in the middle of July.
But which is our summer here.
But not the summer, because you're from Malawi. You may not have immediately understood, but I'm sure your colleague from Libya did. What was happening in the middle of July?
That's why the spokesman.
Ramadan.
Ramadan,
And we couldn't hold a summit in the middle of July and bring Islamic leaders here and expect them to deal with our summer, which is it doesn't get dark till 9 o'clock at night.
That's true.
And have a big White House dinner starting at 9:30. So we had to move the time back to after Ramadan.
Absolutely.
After Eid.
Now, switching gears a little bit, I was disappointed to see some of the riots on the street from folks from Africa, protests, not riot, but we didn't make it to that level, but protests. And the beauty about America is that people are free to express themselves. I was trying to figure out why people were protesting, and I was privileged enough to put somebody on the side. I said, hey, are you guys reacting because America's done something, or is it because of something else? I said, no, we're not reacting to America. We actually protesting because of some of our leaders. But the good thing about this summit is that it's bringing everybody to the table, which allows a platform for people to come back together and speak. And I appreciate what the president has done, because this is something that's never expected. Now, from your perspective, when you see people reacting like that, what would you do to encourage someone who's going through that?
So I've had a lot of conversations with Africans about their dissatisfaction with some of their governments. Not all countries, but some governments.
Some of the countries.
And what you're seeing here in Washington is we have in America the largest diaspora of Africans in any nation in the world, and they're active and vocal. And they participate in our democracy. And there is an African caucus in our Congress.
Yes.
People that are focused and interested on it, and they work through our democracy to express themselves. And so when their leaders from their home countries are here, they want to make their voices heard.
Their voices heard. Yeah.
And that's great. And I often had a conversation today with a journalist, and he said, what is America going to do to help Africa solve problems with corruption?
Right.
And I said, America's, we're engaged and we talk about the issue, but if you won't have a problem with corruption in your country, it's your job to solve it.
It's your job to fix it.
It's your job to focus on it, and we will support you and we have initiatives that we work on.
Yeah.
But and it's the same thing I tell the diaspora. If you have an issue, raise it.
Yeah.
Work on it.
Yeah. That's very good. One thing that I learned from yesterday's meeting, one of the spokesmen said, actually, I think it's one of the ambassadors, he said, this opportunity not only allows Africa to grow, but it also allows Americans to look at Africa from a different perspective.
That's exactly right.
So
that's been my number one objective.
Exactly. So it's so cool, and I wish people could just have the opportunity to be here, But this is why we're here to be the platform to.
And I think for your viewers, they need to understand that it's more than a formal summit.
Exactly.
Right. There is a formal summit.
Exactly.
Our president is in the room with your president today, right now for 8 hours spending time, but. Outside of all that, there are over 100 outside events happening in Washington, D.C., Baltimore, New York, all over the place, organized by people that care about Africa, Americans that care about Africa. Our engagement with Africa is deep. It's historic. It's long-term. And this is a tremendous opportunity for Africans to understand that. And for Americans to change their perspective. The thing that I think struck me so much yesterday, we announced $14 billion worth of deals already.
That was a big deal.
Signed deals. Signed U.S. investment in Africa.
Exactly.
U.S. investment in Africa means jobs in Africa and jobs in the United States.
Both ways. And that's the beauty of it. And I'm glad you emphasize on that, because most people are wondering, why are we having a summit now? Somebody raised a question, are we following China? Because China did a similar thing in '84. But is that the trend that we're trying to go? But I'm glad you hit your... Any last words? I know you're busy, but any last words?
I just want to say thank you to your viewers, and please think of America as a partner, because we're here to partner with Africa.
Absolutely.
We've been partnering with Africa for decades,
Absolutely.
And we're going to continue to do so.
We want to thank you. We want to thank your department. Thanks. It was so cool for us to be given an opportunity to actually work with Secretary Kerry and actually be there. And it was so beautiful to see all the presidents walk in from different countries at the same time. I've never seen anything like that. It was a privilege, and thank you to the rest of America for what they're doing for the continent. And this is just the beginning. Thank you so much.
My pleasure. Thank you so much.
Thank you.